Who am I speaking with?
Jayne Gackenbach, Grant MacEwan University, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
And you just gave a talk about game protection from nightmares in the military. I spoke to your son about this just briefly, but I want to know details. What were you talking about?
What we did was people from the military filled out a survey. They had to be fairly high functioning. What I'm talking about is simply the recreational play that soldiers do, and they're very often violent games, very often war-based games. They do it while they're deployed. They do it. They take PSPs into the field. They're playing it, and the more they play, they become essentially numbed, but also empowered. In other words, they're less impacted by the violence, but they know they can fight back. So when they replay that situation that just happened in a city and children were screaming and people's faces were being blown off, they're able to hide behind, quiet the children, actively engage. Whereas those that don't play as much are frozen, they're less likely, they're more traumatized by, there's more threat. It's frightening for them.
Dig into the details of that a little bit. You were talking about them being numbed. And although most games have, positive impact like save the children, kill the bad guys, does that numbing effect have a negative? The positive is the fact that, elimination of nightmares or reduction, excuse me. But where does that numbing effect essentially desensitize the person to the positives?
Yeah, no, totally. It's a classic finding in the gaming and aggression violence literature that gamers become more insensitive. Not just gamers, also if you watch a lot of TV violence or movie violence, you become insensitive to it. You become numbed to it. And for the most part, we don't want that. We want you to be responsive to that problem. But if you're in a situation that's potentially so violent and life-threatening and traumatizing, then some of that numbing, that's why I use the word inoculation. Some of that numbing, in fact, may be adaptive. And so in the case of military, the guys who are deployed, and when they're gaming on an intuitive level, I think they pick up that. This helps somehow. It takes me out of my reality, enables me to engage with World of Warcraft, talk to my fiancé while I'm on World of Warcraft, allows me to win. Well, when I'm out there in the real world in Iraq, I don't necessarily win. But so there's that empowerment, and there's, unbeknownst to them, there's this practice that enables them to handle the deep psychological, emotional problems that happen when you are really being shot at and you might die.
Are there specific games that are better at this than others?
Well, what we found was while both our high-end gamers and our low-end gamers played the traditional hardcore games, MMOs, first-person shooters, that sort of thing, there were more casual gamers among the low-end. So the high-end gamers where we found this, 98% of the games they played or favored were the classic hardcore games. And very often, just before they filled out the questionnaire, they were playing various kinds of war games.
So if I played Bejeweled, that wouldn't help in desensitizing me for nightmares?
No, not that. But playing Bejeweled does have a relaxing effect, but it wouldn't necessarily desensitize you. True.